Hello and welcome to the Saturday Morning Muse. Today is November the 5th, 2022, and I'm Andy Tempty. Today we're going to talk about constructive conflict at work, or environments where you must provide some constructive feedback to a coworker or a team. Now, I've got 3 tips for you this morning. I've been asked on a number of occasions over the last few weeks about how to engage in constructive conflict. So, tip number 1 is to use empathy as your guide. Make sure that you can put yourself in the shoes of the individuals whom you are engaging with at the office. Spend some time to get to know your colleagues and tailor your message to that particular audience. Now, your feelings matter, your opinions matter, but the second you start making it all about you and your needs is the second that the argument will start to go awry. Expect some give and take in the conversation. Expect that you will need to compromise to reach a solution. Expect to collaborate and reach consensus with your team members. If you think that your idea is the best idea and you're just going to make sure that it gets through, well, that's not going to go so well for you. And the second you start pointing fingers at somebody else, remember that 3 are pointed right back at you. So if you're going to talk about your feelings and your opinions, make sure that you're using I statements. So when X happens, it makes me feel this way, and then start to ask questions about how that particular situation is impacting your coworkers. Things will go much better. Now, the second tip is to use data and facts. Again, your opinions matter, your feelings matter, but be data-driven in the conversation. Make sure you do your homework before you engage in constructive conflict, and bring data and information to the table and allow that to guide the conversation. My third tip this morning is probably the most important, and that is to focus on the business and to focus on the customer. Yes, the relationship between you and your colleagues is extraordinarily important, but who pays the bills in your work environment? Ultimately, it's the customer. So focusing on the needs of the business and helping to create clarity so that goals can be aligned and you can trust one another and have that trust be centered around the business and the customer, you're going to get a lot farther focusing on the business. Consensus is going to be built much more easily and readily when you're talking about how we add value to the customer and add value to the value stream, which ultimately ends up with the customer. So there are my 3 tips for engaging in constructive conflict today. We'll talk more in future muses about constructive conflict. By no means are we done with this conversation. Have a wonderful Saturday. Tell your friends and colleagues about this website and the Saturday Morning Muse and the podcast and my book, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much.